Welcome back to the channel and to another video. Today is Tuesday the 12th of August, another sweltering day here in Eastern Ontario. I think we hit a high of about 40 degrees today. Again, not complaining. In a few short months, we'll be buried deep in snow. So, Sadiq Khan. I was scrolling through X earlier, Twitter, and I don't follow him, but in the general timeline, one of his recent tweets popped up where he's celebrating the reduction in the crime rate in London. Now, just to give you some of the stats he posted, knife crime is 19% lower, burglaries are 10% lower, theft from a person 13% lower, and robbery personal 13% lower. I'm assuming that means things like muggings and stealing people's cell phones. So 13% lower. So he's all excited that he's working with the Met. He's bringing crime down in London. But something doesn't quite add up. You know, talking with family, friends, watching the news, listening to reports of what, things that are going on in London, they tell a very, very different story. And this is important for me. And perhaps you can kind of help me out and give me some ideas and guidance on this one. So me and the lovely Lisa, we're planning on spending a lot more time back in the UK. I mentioned in one of my earlier videos about leaving Canada, and it's not leaving permanently, but it's leaving definitely for a significant period of time to spend a lot more time back in the UK. I find that after so many years, you miss family, you just miss being around what's familiar to you. So we're planning on spending a lot more time back in the UK. We go back fairly often. When we do go back, we'll rent a flat, we'll stay with family. The last time I was there, I rented a flat just off of the Jamaica Road in Bermondsey. And so we're kind of looking at London primarily, seeing that's where I'm from, where the things I like are in London. But so obviously things such as the crime rate, the cost of living, the cost of property, all play a big impact, but especially crime and seeing really what's happening. So I wanted to dig a little deeper, go behind Sadiq Khan's numbers and really see where things are today. What's really interesting, though, is that Sadiq Khan, he boasts decreases of those four crime groups, but he skips over a whole lot of others where there is a significant increase. So during the same period, 2024 to 2025, gun crime is up 18%. The crime that rhymes with tape is up 9%. Sexual offences up 11%. And business robbery and shoplifting both up 38%. So a very, very different number or scenario or picture than the one Sadiq Khan is posting. I never liked him. I agree with Trump that I don't know if I don't know. I think Trump's description was fairly accurate. I think he's sneaky. What really bothers me with Sadiq Khan, but like a lot of politicians today, is that he'll take his paycheck from the public purse, but refuses to be accountable, refuses to answer questions, just avoids answering questions, and treats people asking him questions, reporters, members of the public, with almost a degree of contempt. But that's not unique to him. I mean, the worst one I think for this was Trudeau in Canada, who just could not answer a question. It's what I like about Farage, is that he's pretty direct. I've seen press conferences where journalists try to stump him on a question. He doesn't care. He'll give a straight answer back. But I don't like Sadiq Khan. I don't trust him. And I think it's time that he goes. Along with Starmer, it's time that all of these people quit, resign, get voted out. Neither of them are fit for purpose at all. But crime overall is up. Knife crime, especially, the 2024 to 2025 numbers show there were 16,344 reported incidents, up from 15,016 in the previous year. But that's reported incidents. And I think really what's telling is that although Sadiq Khan is talking about the lowering number of incidents of the categories he mentions, how many are not being reported? We hear time and time again of shop owners who are so fed up of shoplifters. They stop reporting it because it happens daily. They report it to the police. The police do absolutely nothing unless there's more than £200 stolen. The police won't take any action whatsoever. I'm not blaming the individual police officers, but there's definitely been a shift towards the kind of crimes that they're focusing on, and also they're dealing with the budgetary constraints. The I think the assistant commissioner of the Metropolitan Police recently said that they're going to have to reduce the number of officers and PCSOs by 1,700 due to a £260 million funding shortfall. So there'll be less police officers on the street. But how effectively are these police officers being used? Are they being used to deal with the crime that's going on, like around them, the shoplifting, the burglaries? Are they investigating cases of sexual assault the way they should be, or are they too busy fighting the politically crimes that the politicians determine are worthy of investigation? And I'm specifically talking about hurty words. So every year in the UK, there are 12,000 arrests due to so-called violations under the Communications Act and the Malicious Communications Act. And now what is defined as malicious communications will change according to the will of the politicians. So basically, I don't need to get into it. Police showing up at people's doors at 2 o'clock in the morning because of a Facebook post. And again, the usual stories are people like Lucy Connolly. She posts a tweet that she removed, then faces 31 months in prison. So the police aren't being used effectively. They're not being used where they should be being used. And Sadiq Khan is completely oblivious to all of this, or completely tone deaf to all of this, and is just basically giving us four little numbers to show that he's doing a great job in bringing crime down. He is not bringing crime down. It's getting worse under Sadiq Khan. And this concerns me. It's like, is it really as bad on a day-to-day basis as the numbers are pointing to? Am I stupid for thinking that, I want to go and live in London? That I want to go and live in Bermondsey? I always felt very safe there. I mean, as a kid, I used to, Bermondsey back in the day, near London Bridge, just near Guy's Hospital, wasn't the fanciest neighborhood. There was crime, but you felt relatively safe. People had a degree of respect for the police. When you saw a policeman, policewoman in the street walking the beat, you kind of respected them, and they gave you a sense of security, that you felt that there was order, there was law and order was present in your neighborhood. I when I'm back, I don't really feel that. And it's not just me, I'm sure that a lot of you don't feel safe leaving your house. Even visitors to the UK are being warned. Australia, Canada, France, and Mexico have all issued travel warnings about the UK because of the surging crime. Mexico has issued a travel warning against going to the UK, country full of drugs cartels, where every day we read reports of tourists being attacked and tourists being killed. They're warning their citizens not to go to the UK. So where do we look at going? I've got family all over the south coast, near in East Sussex, on the coast itself, all along the southern coast. Do I look at moving to a smaller town? Will that give me what I want? Living back in the UK. I mean, really, my heart is set on being in London, but I've got to think realistically. One, can I afford to move back to London? And secondly, will it actually be safe to live in London? I'm certain, I've already got a feeling I know where a lot of the comments are going, where they're going to lean towards. Um, but it's sad, you know. It's. I still believe it's the best city in the world, and people like Sadiq Khan are not doing it justice. Lying about the numbers, cutting the resources that are needed to deal with the crime rates, and just letting groups run amok. It's sad. It absolutely is sad. So if you were me, where would you look at moving to? Would you look at moving somewhere out in the country, moving up north, going completely down south? I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But let's hope that something can be done. That until he's gone, though, I don't know. I don't know if it will be. Anyhow, guys, so yeah, those are the numbers. Sadiq Khan has told us that crime is dropping in London, so something to celebrate there, I guess. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. And if you like this video, giving it a thumbs up. But most importantly, I would really love to hear your comments, your feedback on me moving back to London, or, you know, looking at somewhere else in the UK. What your thoughts are on the crime, the surging crime. Have you been affected? What are your thoughts on this? Drop me a comment below. I'd love to read them. And until the next video, guys, take care. Don't forget to subscribe and giving the video a thumbs up. And I'll catch you on the next one.